All right, it says I'm live again. I guess see if anybody joins again. Tim Finnegan. I don't know if you were here before, but oh yeah, Paul said it was a guild line offense. I don't know what that is. So for you guys who were here a minute ago, I got a message that said my stream was stopped because there was a complaint, like a community complaint of something, and before I could read the whole message, it disappeared. So I don't know. What's that thing you're saying? It said Paul said it was a guild line offense. Did you guys see a message that my stream was turned off for some reason? I don't even know what that is. Oh, guideline offense. That's weird that there were only 20 people joined and one of them would be offended by my content. But anyway. But yeah, so I appreciate that you guys would hang around. Really? Do you think it's like did a bot get me like no. There's no way that it automatically heard me say that word and killed my stream. I mean, maybe it did, I guess. Is it really that big brothery? That would be stunning, frankly. But anyhow, so yeah, I appreciate you guys joining. I know there's a couple people here who just got who just joined, but yeah, I was playing around with my streaming tool just to see if I could figure out how to make it work. And before I knew it, I was streaming, and you guys were joining, so that's super fun. And judging by the fact that people seem to enjoy hanging out, I'm going to schedule some for sure, and have people come and hang out and ask questions and whatnot. Yeah, Lucy, I that's what I was thinking, but I mean, and believe me, there's no shortage of haters, but there were only like 20 people joined, and it's hard to believe that of 20 people, like one of those 20 was already like going to be like hassle me. I don't know, possible, I suppose, but anyway, yeah. So I don't need to really take up your whole night here. I don't have any momentous announcements or anything. You know what? While you guys are here, I'll let you know. I have a few things I've been working on, and I've mentioned. I have for months. I've been working on a barrel video, and I've been collecting data. I've done shooting tests for velocity consistency, because really I mean, this isn't entirely true, and I'm going to talk about that in the video, but mostly velocity consistency is accuracy, right? If you shoot a paintball gun, it's just a straight tube. It has no dynamic relationship to a paintball, unless you're shooting a flat line. We're just trying to put a spin on the ball. Apart from that, regular barrels, there's no dynamic relationship, right? The ball is round. You can't rifle the barrel to make the ball spin, because you get unpredictable results due to the fact that there's a seam and it goes in a different orientation in the breech every time. So no one does that, right? So because of that, the only Canadian airsoft player, yeah, maybe. Because of that, there's no dynamic relationship between the barrel and the ball. So all there is efficiency, which is not wasting air, and velocity consistency. Because if you shoot a gun and it goes 290, 290, 290, 290, 290, 290 every time you shoot it, that's like the most accurate paintball gun ever. It doesn't matter what it is, right? And I've said, I'm on record a lot saying that that a paintball barrel pretty much is just a tube. As long as it's straight, and I've said this, I mean, I must have typed this like 100 times on Facebook. As long as it's straight, has a reasonably good finish, and allows for some manner of bore matching, so you can roughly match the bore to the size of the ball, right? Though that, and also, of course, with more or less porting, you can have like different sound to them. But all of that is 100% of what you get out of a barrel. That's it. There's nothing else to it. It doesn't matter who makes it, what it's shaped like, what kind of holes it has in it. None of those things matter. and I've been on record saying that a bunch of times, and you see companies come out with barrels, and they talk about there's some kind of fancy porting design makes it more consistent. I mean, my position has always been that none of that is true, and in the lots of shooting I've done for this upcoming video, it has turned out that has been borne out. If you have the bore be the same relative to the paint, like for how every barrel doesn't come in the same bore, right? Like if your paint, let's say your paint bore's out about 682, well, not every kit comes with exactly 682. Sometimes it's 683 or 684. But if you have them all the same, like if you have, say, whatever it is, like 5 different barrels, and they all have a 684 bore, and you shoot the same paint through them, all 4 barrels do the same thing. It doesn't matter who made it, what it looks like, what kind of porting it has on it, the velocity is going to be the same. All there is the bore and the paint. That's all that matters. And all the shooting I've done has borne that out, and I'm going to be coming up with a video pretty soon. I don't know if can you see behind me? I'm trying to see my view. You can kind of see my pile right there. There's a laser barrel kit right there. Next to it is a parabolic kit. I have this is a die old school barrel that's been bored for freaks. Right in here, this is another set of parabolic barrels. I have a whole nother collection of barrels in here, which is like there's some die barrels in there. Old school J&J. I've got a disruptive kit. I've got a Aculot kit, a FL kit, extra Freak XLs, standard Freaks. I mean, I can go on for an hour. A lot of barrels, and they all do the same thing. So we'll be coming out with that video pretty soon. What else? We're all waiting with bated breath for this new MacDev gun that's supposed to be a convertible mech or electro gun. I still don't have any word about that. I keep bugging Mark Christian about it constantly, and he promises that as soon as it's possible for me to be able to get one of those to show you guys, I'm going to have it. So hopefully that'll be pretty soon. I think. Oh, thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. Let me see if I had any other questions in here. If there's anything you guys want to talk about before I sign off, I'm kind of a mess. I just noticed my hair is like all over the place. I guess I'm not going to win the fashion show today. But yeah, so I'm really glad this works. I need to look into it more. I got to be able to do stuff like switch to a view where I can like show you guys pictures and stuff like that. I'm an IT guy for a living. You'd think I'd be better at this than I am. I'm a good disaster. I'm like a combination of an IT guy, but I'm also like an old fuddy-dud, and I'm like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to click. I'm looking at my let's see. I got OBS Studio running, and that's what I'm streaming through, and I'm sure there's a way to do the pictures in there, but I can't for the life of me see what it is here. I was going to show you that Hornet. But I'll mess with it more and figure it out. I'll get better at it, I promise. Hey, thank you. Who said that? Clips. I will keep up the good work. I'm doing my best, trying to get better all the time. Oh yeah, Lucy. That's how I know I'm doing good. Yeah. I guess if I have enough haters, I guess I'm doing something right. Cool. Yeah, I got more videos all the time. I have an arm's length list of stuff I want to do, and there'll be more coming. But I'm going to sign off for now. I really appreciate you guys coming, and I'm going to do some giveaways and whatnot. I just mentioned I'm doing all those barrel tests. That seems like a great candidate for some giveaways, so pay attention. And if somebody could post for me comments about how you were notified. Like, I know you guys must be subscribers to the channel, and I'm assuming that you have notifications turned on, and it must have given you like a real-time notification that I was going live, and you were awesome to jump in. So that's really cool. If you could put comments in, if I'm accurate about that, like how you saw it, or if you just happened upon it or whatever, that's cool. Thank you, Paul. Chuck, I appreciate it. Let's see. What do you say, Paul? A question I got? Yeah, we're going to do that, Paul, for sure. It will happen. Oh, yeah. So, you know what? The clip said you bought my parabolic kit. So, check this out. I'm going to mention, I have a little extra something about those barrels say in that video. And I want you to bear witness I started, I'm going to tell you guys this right now before you go, or some of you probably left already, or if you don't care, that's fine. But with the barrel testing, I want to be fair. I bought all these different barrels to not, I wasn't just going to shoot one barrel and go, see, I'm right. I tried all these different barrels. Well, there was something unique about the parabolic barrels, and my initial plan was to buy a set of barrels, do the shooting, record the data, and then sell that set and use the money to buy a different set, and like keep on doing that. And I did that. I bought the 1.5 parabolic kit, and I sold it to you apparently, buddy. And I bought other barrels, and I went on, and I noticed that I'm not going to get all into the details. It's for the barrel. It's for the barrel video, but there was something I wanted to reinvestigate about those the parabolic barrels. And it also occurred to me that for credibility purposes, I really wanted to be able to demonstrate that I really did check all these different barrels and not just say, oh, trust me, I shot a lot of barrels. Like, I want to be able to show that I did. So I stopped selling them, and I've started keeping them all. And what I had done is, it was too late. I had already sold your set that you've got, but then I bought this other set I just pulled out of here. And the same phenomenon happened with those, and I wanted to be extra sure, so I bought another set, which is right here. So you know I'm not BSing. This is another set of parabolic barrels, and I'll show you. I believe it's this little wrap I have right here. I have one of them hanging on the wall on display. I didn't get the case with this, so I just got this cheap wrap. But one of them is in my... Oh, it's actually in that EMEC on the wall. But I have that parabolic kit that I had sold you, and this is another one I bought. And I bought this set. This is another set of parabolics, just so that I could make extra sure that the information I was collecting was accurate, and that people would see that I wasn't just making it up. I really did have these barrels, and I really did try them all. So I just wanted you guys to see that I really put a lot of effort and time and money, frankly, into doing this with the barrels. And like I said, I got a bunch more. You can see them in the pile over there. There's the HK laser, and I mentioned them all already, all those barrels. So that'll be coming up. Carlos, thanks for that information, and Lucy, I appreciate it. No, it's no stress. I enjoy doing it. I mean, it's not like I'm making any money at it. I just do it for fun, and it really is entertaining for me. So that's cool. All right, guys. So I'm going to sign off for now. Thank you very much for coming by. Put some comments. My favorite barrels, I will answer. And by the way, if you guys keep asking me questions, I'll answer them. Like, I'm not in a rush. My favorite barrels. Now, I as I mentioned, and I'm going to say it again to make sure I'm being clear, performance-wise, none of them are any different. They're the same. So, to me, and this is the thing about parabolic barrels, like I said, I keep saying I'm not going to talk about this because I want to save it for my video, but, the folks, we all know Griffin is the guy who owns parabolic barrels, right? And he talks about some performance aspects of these barrels which are not borne out in testing and, frankly, are not accurate, in my opinion. But that's not to condemn the barrels. I don't want people to... I've said this online before on Facebook. I absolutely am not a hater of these barrels. They are very cool looking. They have a very nice finish. They provide the kit provides you with a way to match your bores. And they're quiet, and the finish is durable. And that list of stuff I just said is 100% of what you can expect out of a quality barrel. If it does all those things, it's straight, the finish is good, you can match the bore, it's pretty quiet, and it looks cool. That is everything that matters about a barrel. That's all a barrel can do. It's just a tube, right? It doesn't have any dynamic relationship to the ball. And parabolic barrels successfully meet all of those criteria, and they look cool. as Clips knows, I bought that set because he knows I bought it because I sold it to him. So that's one set, and I have two more sets I paid my own money for here, this one and that other one I showed you, and I regularly use them at the field. They're not the only ones I use, but I'm not a hater. People think that I hate on these barrels, and I absolutely don't. What I argue against is the idea that there's something dynamic about one kind of barrel over another that makes it shoot paintballs better. It just isn't true. And we're going to get to that in detail in my video. So, to answer your question, my favorite barrels. There's a couple that I really like just because I think they look cool and they're a good value. Hey, you know what? I'll show you. You guys are being nice enough to hang around. Let me grab it and show you. This is one of my favorites. This is a disruptive paintball barrel kit. I think they call it, what do they call it? Death Touch kit. Kind of dramatic, right? But check this out. It comes with this case. And I've actually got a couple, I've got them in displays up there. But it comes with 5 backs. It's 676, I think it's 676, 679, 682, 686, and 688. I think I have those numbers right. These two are just on the wall on guns. But you can see here what it comes with is you pick what color you want. And like I'll put one together so you can see it. Right? And it comes with like that. This is very cool. They look good. They shoot great. The bores are consistent, all that stuff. And the thing that's cool about them, you see I have this like rainbow assortment, and I have a couple more on the wall, silver ones. These extra tips are $15 each. That's why I bought so many. Like I have them to match all my different guns. I have a matte black and a gloss black. And these things shoot great. They're quiet, and it's $140 for a complete kit. And like I said, if you want more colored tips, they're $15 each. So it makes it a super good value. This is the side, 686, yeah, in a kit. And like I said, don't forget, these come full. I've just got a couple of them on the wall up there, so some of them are missing. But yeah, they come in, and more colors in this too. I think for every one of these, they have gloss blue, dust blue. I think they only have one green, but they have gloss red, dust red, and on the wall I've got dust silver and gloss silver on the 6 and the Axe Pro are both up there is why they're out. But I think this is a great value for $140 and get additional tips to match your guns for $15 each. That's a super good value for sure. So that's one of my favorites. Another one of my favorite things to do is I've always liked the looks of die barrels, die UL barrels in particular. What I've done, and let's see, which gun do I have that has that? Oh yeah, this is my 6. Oh yeah, it's my Vanquish that has the other Death Touch. Here I have my new 6. And this is a die UL. This is nothing new, right? And there's nothing wrong with these kits, by the way. If you want to just do a straight up die UL and buy a bunch of backs for them, they're great barrels. I just like them because they look cool and they're quiet. And they're always very, the threads are good. The quality of the manufacturer is always really good. But for me, I don't buy all the backs. I bought one back, which is a 692, and I had it bored for freak inserts. So I use the same, I have a bunch of different barrels I've done this with, so that whenever I want to try a new one, I just get one back or one piece barrel, bore it for freaks, and now I have a complete kit in that barrel without having to buy more backs for all of them. And I just like the way these look a lot. I'm old, I played back when like this die right here. This barrel is an original, like very first generation all aluminum die one piece, like from 1990, I don't know, 96 maybe or so. And I just always liked the look of them. They're cool, they're quiet. And then when the ULs came out and they had a real similar look to them, I just like the aesthetics of it, and they shoot good. And you get them bored, $35 to have them bored. And I have Super Stanchi do them. They come out great. And that's another economical way to have a really nice barrel. So I see you guys are asking me a couple questions here. Let me take a look. Hey, Tori. Yeah, that's Josh. Yeah, so, somebody complained and like my stream got shut off. It was weird. I don't know what happened there. So the gun I don't want you to buy. That was just my discussion about. It wasn't that I literally didn't want anybody to buy it. It's just value wise. When I made that video, sixes were more money used than they are now. Excuse me, and Axe Pros were less than they are now. So the differential was so much so the Axe Pros were just by far the better value. I love these. I know that it's polarizing. People don't like this giant floppy nose looking foregrip. And it's a little chunky. Even to hold it is not my favorite. But everything else about these I love. I love the way they shoot. They're super reliable. I think they look cool. I know the looks are polarizing, but I think this gun looks awesome. And I just really enjoy shooting it. And I have a bunch of times where I've gone, and you guys all know I have a million toys. I got an M3 up there. I got a Vanquish. I just sold a CS2 the other day. I had an LV I sold last week. All these different guns. And I have a long history of showing up at the field with a bag full of expensive guns and only shooting my 6 all day. Because I just love it. That's how much I like it. Just because it's expensive doesn't always mean it's better. So, yeah. Yeah, Clips, if you're talking about that disruptive barrel kit, I'm telling you, it's disrupt. Just Google disruptive paintball and look on there. They have a bunch of stuff that's good value. They have a convertible pack that's 40, but it used to be 35 bucks. Now it's like 42, and you can convert them strap to strapless. Really good quality. I have one of those. These barrel kits are super deal for 140 bucks with the case and those backs and whatnot. Mr. Juice, glad you liked the video. I like the XTS too, and I really can't wait for that new MacDev clone replacement to come out. That is going to be extra cool. Yeah, I see close clips you were talking about. Yeah, it's 50 bucks with shipping maybe, right? To do your freak boring, and it's a good way, because once you do it once, right? Once you buy a set of freaks, I bought a set used for $50, and now when I get a different barrel, like I said, like for example, this UL, if I want to have a complete kit, I don't have to go out and like reinvent the wheel. I've already got a set of freaks, so I just get that board, and now I have a complete set to match with this barrel. And I've got a bunch of CP barrels in different colors, and I had every one of them bored. And that way, instead of having to buy 5 different barrels of different boards, I just buy one. Get it bored one time, and that same $50 kit now can be used in that barrel. It just makes it over. If you like toys and you'd like to buy a million barrels, by far it's the most economical way to do it. Because I know I bought the whole kit because I just thought it was cool, but you don't have to buy whole kits. You can just buy one large bore. And by the way, if you're going to buy a barrel to do freak boring, you want to get it as big as you possibly can. The smallest size most people will do is 688. 689 is better. This is a 692, and it's the bigger you do, the bigger you can get, the better it is, because you don't want to get too thin wall when they machine it out. So I like to find like a 692. So let's see. I'm just trying to catch up with some stuff that folks posted here. Jay with the underboring. Yeah, and again, I'm going to talk about this quite a bit in my barrel video that's coming up. But quickly, many years ago, there was pretty comprehensive testing done by some people who were a lot more patient than me, and they produced data that was the best velocity consistency was a slight underbore, and you'd think that velocity consistency equals accuracy, period. And it turned out, though, that even though a slight overbore was a little bit less consistent with velocity, it was actually more accurate when they did like a thing where they made concentric circles like a bullseye, and they fixed a gun on a bench and shot it over and over again. The slight overbore is actually more accurate, interestingly, and which it's not too hard to figure out, right? The paintballs are flexible, and the obvious answer there is that when you squeeze it into a slight underbore, that friction, it's either spinning it or otherwise deforming it in some way that makes the actual traveling through the air less consistent, whether it makes it wobble or, I don't know the answer, but squishing it into an underbore apparently made it not shoot as good. So A slide over bore was demonstrated to be only a little bit less efficient, but more accurate. And I know that's what a lot of people do. Ben, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you letting me know. Clips. No, I got enough 6s. This isn't even the only one I've got. But I appreciate it. Yeah, mech dev, right? BR. I hope we see the mech dev pretty soon for sure. Mr. Juice, I saw your question earlier about lurker. I didn't. I've watched for a lurker barrel come up used, and I haven't found one yet. I've got some friends that have them, so they're going to get added into the barrel video before I'm done with it for sure. And Ryan, didn't realize that was possible. If you're talking about the boring, yeah, a bunch of people will do it. In fact, I mentioned that Axe Pro at Ross Brown at Boss Paintball builds those Axe Pros. I didn't know this till recently. He does freak boring. He'll bore out barrels for you to put freak inserts in as well. I didn't get a price for him yet, but he's a good guy. And I think the next time I do it, I'll probably go to him. But yeah, my first marker was an original mini mag. And it had I have a picture somewhere. I'll put it up sometime. It had a vertical 12. Was it 9 ounce or 12 ounce? I think it was a vertical 12 ounce CO2 bottle, and a original view loader, hopper, and layout. And it was a mini mag. And I think it had. Did it have a stock? I can't remember what was on the butt of it. It was just the tank. But yeah, that was so cold. Some of you guys have never even played with CO2 probably, but it was a vertical CO2 bottle, and you just held the bottle and shot it. And when you shot it, that bottle would chill down. It was cold out. Your fingers would be like freezing. But I quickly fell head over heels in love with paintball. And being a lifetime nerd and gearhead, I was immediately into all the toys, and I just went right off the deep end. My first gun was that mini mag. And within a very short time, I had a big pile of guns. And not long after that, I had a business building custom cockers and automags. And I completely went off the deep end. But mini mag was the first one. So let's see. Yeah, A. Trayson. Yeah, sight over was a little bit more accurate. That's what the testing showed. It was near insignificant. You're right about that. But, I mean, in a world where, like, sound like a movie guy, right? In a world where paintball accuracy is the same everywhere. So in a world where really there's so much mythology around performance, right? Closed bolt, open bolt, drop shots, all of that, which is all nonsense. Even insignificant differences, if they're repeatable and measurable, I think they are significant because so few things are in paintball, right? We all know that if a paintball gun can consistently shoot velocity-wise, then testing forever has demonstrated that all these notions about, like autocockers, right, fire from a closed bolt, and a couple other guns have too, versus open bolt markers. And I don't mean open bolt, like people talk about spiders and LVs and egos with the bolt with the pin on top, or G6R. That's not really the original meaning of open bolt. Open bolt means the resting position of the marker is with the bolt open and the ball sitting in the breech. And when it fires, the bolt moves it forward to a closed bolt position, closed relative to the feed port, right? And then the air propels it out. Whereas in a closed bolt, at rest, the bolt is forward, so that this is already closed at rest. And when you fire, the first thing that happened is bang, the ball shoots out, and then the bolt comes back and lets the next ball in and closes again. That's the original meaning of open bolt and closed bolt. And people used to say that closed bolt markers had a longer range and a flatter trajectory. None of that is true in any way. Physics tells us that if it leaves the gun going 300 feet per second and all else is equal, meaning the size and weight of the ball, the wind, gravity, etc., it will go to exactly the same spot. I don't care if you shoot out of a Tippmann or a CS2 or an autococker or a whatever, and you name it, a Tiger Shark. It doesn't matter what you shoot it out of. It's the same. So given that being true, even if the distance and accuracy with the slide over bore was small, and it was, even though it was small, it was repeatable. They did it over and over again and demonstrated repeatedly that it was measurably tighter group with a slight overbore. And because of that, I would have to say that I think it does matter a little bit. Especially as a back guy, you can imagine, look at me, right? It's not like I'm a snake player. And I spend a lot of time playing in the back, shooting like the edges of hoppers at long distance and whatnot. And my ability to put a ball on that, or a barrel, think barely part of an elbow, stuff like that from far away, that little bit of difference can matter, frankly. And I'm with you that it wasn't a massive difference to where you're going to be like, oh, I really wish I had put a different bore in my gun. I can't hit the side of a bar from the inside. That doesn't happen. But it is a difference. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, CO2 is cold as hell in the winter. That is definitely true. First gun was a gray ghost. Nice. That is awesome. Tori, don't swear. Yeah, twist lock automag barrels with the wire bobbin detent. Those are awesome. Clips, glad you see you got a 1.6. Those are cool. I can't get past the ergos of those, and it's not just the AT pipe. I had another one recently, and I sold it. It was when I grab it, it's weird. My son's 160R's up there. It's got an AT pipe, but if you look at the gap between the AT pipe and the body, my fingers fit in there easy. And when I grab his gun, like when I play with his gun, I don't even notice the AT pipe ever. I just play. I don't notice anything about it. The LV, though, because that body is taller, right? And also the actual architecture of the lever valve means that in this area here, let me grab it real quick. So this is Jackson's 160. I'm talking about this gap right here. When I hold this, I never notice it. I never notice the AT pipe when I'm playing. But the LV, this line here is kind of squished down like that, sort of. And there's less space in here. And I don't think it's less space here. I think it's just that. But and I don't have one here to compare it to. But every time I grab it or switch hands, like my fingers like run into it all the time. Like I'm just never enough room for the way I'm trying to grab it. And you always hear me. You always hear me say, you guys are getting the benefit of me not preparing for this. My wife made me a bunch of buffalo wings earlier, and they're kind of coming back on me a little. I don't mind telling you. I mention all the time how when I'm sitting around, I'm doing gun reviews, right? I'm like sitting at my desk thinking about what I wish was better and what do I like about it. And a lot of those things that I come up with, I don't notice them when I'm playing, right? When someone's shooting at me, I'm in the heat of battle, I don't notice a lot of stuff. That I constantly notice. When I would play with that gun, every time I switched hands or grabbed it, I felt like it was like resisting my ability to hold on to it. Like it just didn't fit me at all, and I ended up selling it again. But a ton of people like them, and I hope you like yours. And there's nothing bad about the actual gun. I just don't like the ergos of those 1.6s, or any LVs really. TJS, 50 Snake off the break. That is my nickname, actually. You may not have known that. It's a little known fact. That's my nickname. 50 Snake on the break. That's what they call me. And by 50 Snake, I mean walk 2 steps to the home can. Yeah. Just got my 170R. Came without a core. What do you mean? Like it didn't have a bolt in it? That seems unlikely because I'm pretty sure they gas them up before they pack them. But I'm sure they'll take care of it. People like to hate on A&S, and they do make mistakes. But and the other thing about them, they ship and they delay. They have made a clear, concerted effort to be improved in that area. I bought stuff from them lately, little things here and there. And every single time, like for the past probably 8 or 9 times, it's shipped the day I bought it, which a year ago never happened. So they're clearly working on it. And I've had them make mistakes, and I've gotten some things. In fact, I got a 6 from there not that long ago, and they shipped me the wrong color, and they completely handled it. And yeah, they made the mistake, and yeah, they're more prone to mistakes than they should be, no question. But they handle it. I mean, they sent me a replacement before they even got the other one back. And like no retailers do that except for Amazon, really. So I can't really complain about them. They're not perfect. They make mistakes. And honestly, I'm with you. I'm not going to argue that they just make mistakes like everyone else. They have a history probably of making more mistakes than others, but I feel like they're working on it. And I definitely feel like if you call there and talk to customer service, I've never had anyone be anything but apologetic and do their best to handle whatever the problem was. So hopefully they'll take care of your boltless 170. Yeah, I bet you were like, what? Yeah. That's an important part. So, like, what, you just didn't have this at all? Like, there just wasn't one in there? That's pretty gross. That's important. You're going to have trouble shooting people with that. Or without that, I should say. When do I think Dye will release a new marker? So, Dye's next marker is not going to be an M series marker. It's going to be an update to the DSR. And I don't know what they're going to call it. I know that it will have significant changes, and the DSR is already great. I have no doubt that it's going to be awesome. I have no technical detail, but I can tell you that the next Dye gun is going to be a DSR update, not an M3 update. And I don't know when it's slated to come. Really, the slower economy and COVID really just threw a huge stick in the spokes for everybody. I mean, look at Planet Eclipse. They wanted to come out with those CS2 mech frames like 10 months ago, and they're only just now trickling in. And it's not because they're trying to stiff people. The supply chains are a disaster, and manufacturing capacities are down. Raw materials are harder to get. Everything is kind of shipping's a disaster, and that affects everybody, and Dye is no different. So I'm not sure when we're going to see that, but that is the next thing. I see a few people joining. For those of you who are new or just got here, I keep saying I'm going to hang out, I'm going to hang up and kill it, and then more people join. And I'm happy to hang out for a while. What happened here is that I had some time, and I've never done a live stream, so I started mucking around with my software just to see if I could figure out how to do it. And I clicked around, looking at the tool and how it worked, and all of a sudden people were joining. I accidentally was actually streaming, and people were seeing it. So here we are. So I really appreciate you guys coming by. I'll probably do some announcements later on, not today, but future ones, and I might even do some giveaways. So I really appreciate you guys coming by. It's awesome. Thank you. Rumors to a new Lux. I haven't heard anything about a new Lux. The amp just came out during Cup this year, during World Cup, from Shocker Paintball. And I don't really know if their development cycles are related. There's nothing updated about that amp that would go into a Lux, really. The core is just like another version of that copycat Gamma core, and if I'm being honest, and I know that I'm on record, I've told you guys a bunch on my channel, I am not a fan of that group of companies, Shocker Paintball, Lux Paintball. They will never get $1 of my money, and if anybody's ever interested in why, I'll post some links or whatever, but they've demonstrated time and time and time again. And when I say they, I mean the Gardner brothers. That's who owns the companies. They have demonstrated over 20-something years that they would burn paintball to the ground if it put $1 extra in their pocket. They've demonstrated it many times. It's not a matter for debate. However, in the interest of the fact that A, plenty of people like their paintball guns, and B, I'm here in a video trying to help people learn about, get real information and get values, I'm not going to just ignore Lux and Shocker Paintball, nor am I going to hate on them all just because I don't like the company. And you can believe me. I'm going to pop this halfway, and you can believe me or not, and that's fine. But I did I did a amp review lately, and I've learned more about the amp since I did the review. And tell you the truth, the thing is a dumpster fire. It's the worst release in recent history from any paintball gun manufacturer. It has lots of problems with it. And you can watch the review. I'm not going to go into all of them here. And I don't know how that's going to affect Lux, to try to answer your question. If they have something in the pipeline, I'm not sure. But I think they're putting a lot of resources right now probably into getting that amp straightened out, would be my guess. Hey, Trayson says, I need to make a Smart Part Sucks video. Yeah, maybe someday. But I really mean it though about the guns, and I'm going to tell you right now, just so everybody knows, I'm not just being a hater when I talk about the amp. The Shocker XLS, obviously same company, and I have the same feelings about the company. But the XLS is an excellent gun. I can't see buying an amp when you can buy a used XLS, which is, in my opinion, better in many ways than the amp is. I think the amp is a step backwards and kind of a disaster, really. But I'm not just hating on Shocker Paintball. The XLS is a very good, very reliable gun. A lot of people like them, and for good reason, for sure. And in fact, I haven't done a video on one of those, but if I get one in, I would do, I would do a review on that, and I would even compare. I have one here. I did a comparison as far as feature-wise between the XLS and the amp, but I didn't get into the various aspects of the XLS that are better, and I may do that at some point. But yeah, I'm not just. I promise you. I know it might not sound like that. I know that everyone doesn't believe me when I say it, but totally not just hating on them just because they're Shocker Paintball. The amp is bad for what it should be, right? And when I say that, I'm not just saying that. Like I said, if you're asking me if you really want to buy a Shocker paintball marker, think about an XLS. A lot less money. You can buy them for a lot less money used. You can get the CVO frame, so you have the mech and electro, and they're reliable. They shoot great, super solid. XLS is a super solid gun. And DJ, sorry, the Shocker amp is not excellent. It is rife with issues. Some of them are good, but they've updated the bolts. They've only been out. Here's an example. They've only been out since World Cup. Right, which is how long now? So we're 2 months, 5 months, maybe, right? Not quite. It's like November's, yeah, but 4 months and change. 4 months and change, right? And they've updated the bolts now twice for various issues. This latest update they've replaced the back cap with this knurled. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, with a knurled back cap, so you can grab it and more positively engage it. And a friend of mine sent me a picture of one earlier today. They've only been out for a few weeks, so by definition it can't be old, right? The gun's only been out for a few months, and this part is only weeks old, and all the ano's already worn off of it. Now, does ano, not all of it, I'm just saying you can see where the knurling is getting the ano worn on it. But is that a big deal? Does that make it not shoot a paintball? No, of course not. But it's a $900 gun. You shouldn't use it for a week and have the finish wearing off of it. And that's just like one of 100. I mean, I'm not 100, but I mean one of many problems. Terrible grips. The breech geometry is terrible. They're hard on paint. They released a update recently to slow the bolt speed down, and their solution was to put an oversized O-ring on the bolt so that it drags on the can and slows the bolt down in an effort to make it not be a blender. And rather than release an updated can with a smaller orifice for airflow that would actually regulate the bolt speed in a real way, that would fix it, right? Or at least could fix it. Instead, they put a fat O-ring on the bolt so it drags on the can in an effort to slow it down. It's just a bad design. And I know I'm not just hating. I'm telling you the truth about the gun. And again, I'm going to go back and say that the XLS does not have these issues. The XLS is a objectively better paintball gun than the amp. The only thing good about the amp is it's newer. It just it has nothing going for it. When it's working good, the shot feels really good. I give it that for sure. Once I had to get 2 of them here to do the review, because the first one I had to send it back twice to get it fixed, and by the time I finally got it back, I had to give it back to the guy who loaned it to me. And the second one I had issues, and I finally got that going, and when it worked, it did have a good feel to it for sure. And if they do a comprehensive, it's not like unsalvageable. If they do like a sort of an amp, kind of like, well, no, those are pretty minor updates on the 6, bad example. But if they come out with like an amp 2.0 or something, and they do things like revise that back cap for real, change the air orifice on the can so that the bolt speed is properly regulated, things like that, they can definitely change this thing into a serviceable gun for sure. It's not a lost cause, but as delivered, it's pretty rough for sure. let's see what else is going on. My own website. Lucy, my very first video, I actually mentioned that I was going to do that, and I have since kind of backed off of that, really, because with life in general, that I just there wasn't enough money in doing the reselling thing to where I could devote, the amount of time it would take me to devote to it to do a really good job of it. I just don't have that many hours in the day, given how much money I could make doing it as a side job. So I ended up not doing that. I just do a little bit of buying and selling on the side, even less now than I used to. But I still enjoy the videos. So a Trayson, can't engineers? Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true about the not being able to engineer a smaller can. It's not the can. It's the air orifice that feeds the bolt. As we know, it's a copy of a gamma core, right? And Connor Smith pointed this out to me. I didn't just come up with this on my own, but the orifice that drives the bolt in the gamma core is a millimeter, and the orifice in the amp is 1.5 millimeters, and that explains the faster bolt speed. But they could update that and come out with a different or updated part that has a smaller orifice that would provide less flow for the bolt, and the bolt would move slower, and that would probably address a significant amount of the paint handling issues. So it's not that they don't understand it. It's just so costly. I mean, you can't just replace the core at every gun. I mean, you could, but it's a lot of money. They should have caught that in their R&D phase, frankly. But yeah, who knows? I will tell you guys, in the area, by the way, of not hating, they do, even though, I mean, that bolt fix with the O-ring is just stupid, and the back cap, knurled cap update is still just like another bad kind of, whatever, I don't know how to even describe it. It's just like, it is better that you can grab it, but it's just still not great, right? But anyway, what I was trying to get at is they clearly are willing to do in-run updates in order to try to make it better. And that's commendable. They're not just like foisting the thing on people and being like, here, sorry about your luck, it's crap, sorry. You know what I mean? They're actually working on making it better. And that should be noticed. I mean, I give them credit for doing that. And I hope they get to a point where the thing is worth buying. But they're certainly not there right now. Yeah, I saw that the AC teams are Shocker Paintball now, and I don't expect they'll have any problems, because all of those guns will be hand fiddled by whoever their Craig or whoever their best tech is, and they'll have a million of them, so they have the slightest problem, they can swap them out. I doubt that they'll have any serious issues, but yeah. So let's see. What am I missing? You're going to call me tomorrow? Okay. Maybe you're not talking to me. I'm not sure if I'm missing a conversation in there somewhere. Yeah, karma for copying the gamma core. They did do that, and they didn't do a very good job of it either, but yeah, what are you going to do? It's kind of extra ironic that they would copy the gamma core for the amp, and for the Lux X too is the same type of thing. Because the reason that everyone hates them so much is because they alleged they got a bunch of patents. This is going to be a really quick, very quick one-liner. I'm not going to go into all this history, but they got a bunch of pretty much indefensible patents. But if you know anything about patents, it's very easy to get patents. There are registered patents for time machines and devices to turn anything into gold, like lead into gold, and all these different ridiculous non-existent things, because the patent system is so grossly overwhelmed that there's no real review. You can patent anything. So in a combination of indefensible patents and patents that had turned out over time they didn't actually have a right to, they used those as weapons to sue smaller companies into either extorting money out of them or forcing them out of business. And so the fact that they would do that, but then come back around and be like, oh, hey, nobody patented a gamma core, let's just copy it, is like extra irony and awful. But Yeah, I saw that. You know, I mentioned I'm Trace, and you mentioned about the grips, the completely wrapped in hockey tape. I mentioned in my review one of the 50 things wrong with that thing, and this is my opinion now. Some people like them, but there's comments in my amp video where people disagreed about my analysis of the grips or whatever, and but they're the worst grips in paintball, in my opinion. They're like almost entirely made out of hard plastic, and as soon as you get any paint on your hands or sweat, you can't even hold on to the thing. It's so slippery. And my buddy I borrowed the first one from, he was playing with his at Cup, and he had like the whole thing wrapped in hockey tape because you couldn't hold on to it otherwise. And if you watch video from AC guys, and A Trace in here mentioned it in the chat, you can see that all those guys have the whole thing wrapped in hockey tape because you can't hold on to it otherwise, you know, especially at that sort of high level of intensity that tournament players are playing at, and especially pros for sure, you know, crazy dives and really aggressive moves. Yeah, you just can't hold on to the thing. So yeah, that's enough about the amp. So let's see, my 200 serial number, bad grips. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. All right, I think I finally got all the questions. I'm actually getting a little hoarse right now. I really appreciate you guys stopping by for sure. The good Allen key. I didn't notice that. They give you a good Allen key. Oh, the Allen key set. Was that good? Yeah. Oh, there you go. I didn't remember that. I think I might have mentioned it in the video actually. I forget. Anyway, but I'm gonna shut it down for real. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that you guys just came out of the blue and hung out with me. That is super, super awesome. No, I'm trying to answer questions. It is not bad to own a marker with over 100,000 shots. That. Oh, I'm pointing it. Where is it? Right there. That M3 Plus is an actual Columbus level team gun, and I bought it after 2 years of use from Level. It has way over 100,000 shots, and it shoots like a dream, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. In fact, I happen to know, I don't know this number for other manufacturers, but I'm sure it's similar. And after I'm done with this, I'm going to go. Thank you, Paul. The Die M3, both the S and the Plus, were engineered by, they were engineered to do a 1 million cycle duty life with nothing but routine maintenance. And routine maintenance means the stuff that you find in the manual. And that is, you know, they tell you how often do you have to lube the bowl and how often should you service the reg. And that's it. And they are designed and have been proven through trial before they made them in mass production to shoot 1 million cycles and not need anything but routine maintenance. So yeah, 100,000 shots, no problem at all. I bought that thing with way over 100,000 shots, and I would do it again. It shoots like a dream. Yeah, don't sweat the 100,000 shots. Thank you for the well wishes. Accidental stream, best stream. Yeah, that's pretty fun. I'm super excited that you guys came. And look, it's 52 minutes in, and we had that first one was like 20 minutes, I think, and we ended up all hanging out together. And all I was doing was trying to figure out my tools, like to figure out how to stream. So thank you very much, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I have not done an M3 video. I should. You know what? I haven't. I was just saying earlier that I haven't done a CZR video ever, and you know a lot of people who start out playing or don't want to spend a lot of money have those, and I've never heard a bad thing about them. And people love DSRs, so maybe I should. Yes, you're right. A-Trace and John definitely knocked it out of the park with those, and we may be hearing more from John in the not too distant future. By the way, here's a little nugget for you. Ryan, thanks very much. I appreciate you guys. I will be back. I'm not sure when I'll do the next one, but I haven't even worked out really how to announce it. I guess I should put it on the Facebook page, or I'm not even sure, but I'll figure it out. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm super new to the streaming thing, but it's super fun that you guys hung out with me, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I will do more of these for sure. Die month incoming. Yeah, maybe I'll do a die month. Then I'll probably do one video, and I'll have like CZR and DSR and M3. But all right, thank you guys, and we will see you next time.